just look in the mirror and be like, okay, what's going on, Andrew? You've wasted your 20s. You're going nowhere fast. Something obviously needs to change, and nothing yet is obviously working. So by engaging in a simple gratitude process for 5 or 10 minutes a day, or visualization, that's where things happen. And I was in a brand new, way healthier relationship. Within 4 months, I was making more money than at any point in my life before then. Everything had changed. I was waking up happy, fulfilled, in the best shape of my life. In the middle of all that, over 7 weeks, like 25 pounds without even technically trying.
You're a man living in the modern world in a time when men and manhood are not what they once were. You live life on your own terms. You're self-sufficient. You think for yourself, and you march to the beat of your own drum. When life knocks you down, you get back up, because in your gut, you know that's what men do. You're a badass and a warrior. And on the days when you forget, we are here to remind you who you really are.
Welcome to Sovereign Man Podcast, where we aim to make men masculine. Again, I'm your man, Nicky Ballou, and we have a very special guest here for you today. The amazing best-selling author of the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, Andrew Kemp.
Nicky, thank you so much for having me. With that kind of intro, I know I've got to step it up and make sure I deliver, and I'm very grateful to be here.
Good to have you here. So, Andrew, why don't we start by having you tell us your backstory? How'd you get to be Andrew Kemp?
Well, it was all over a girl is what they say, right? Well, it's kind of funny. I kind of go back like a little over 20 years at this point. I remember being a young entrepreneur trying to find, the quote unquote secret to happiness and success. And I dipped into so many modalities, law of attraction just being one of those many. And for me, whether it was that or everything else, everything seemed to be very hit and miss for me. There were a few wins, there were a lot more losses, and it just felt like I couldn't really get a foothold over anything working for me. And it kind of, everything came to a head a few years later when, to be dramatic, I lost what felt like was about 90% of my life because 3 days after throwing in the towel on my business to finally make my relationship work, which was really on the rocks, that girl who I'd been with for over 3 years, she broke up with me over text. And I had to just look in the mirror and be like, okay, what's going on, Andrew? You've wasted your 20s. You're going nowhere fast. Something obviously needs to change, and nothing yet is obviously working. And I had this very weird moment of indignation / epiphany where I looked back on everything I'd been doing the past few years. And I noticed myself, I was like, you know what? With everything I tried, the whole law of attraction thing, whenever I was actually in the midst of doing it, I was seeing results. I just kept using it. I kept leveraging it. I kept going into the process. So I said, you know what? I don't care what happens. I don't care when it happens. I don't care why it happens. I don't care any of that. I'm going to go all in with this thing once and for all. And when I say all in, I don't mean all day, every day, because I had enough knowledge of my own personality, my own faults, the way I got in my own way to still understand that no matter how angry I was and how motivated I was, it just wasn't sustainable. But what I was angry enough with myself to do, and what I was motivated enough to do, and what I could really put myself behind was what I had been doing only nonstop, which is 5 or 10 minutes a day of gratitude methods or visualization methods or whatever is employing, that positive mindset, that triggering of the law of attraction, that welcoming of a change through the universe. And I'll tell you, Nicky, it was almost like a movie, because once I made that decision, within 2 weeks of it, I felt way better than anyone with a broken heart had any business feeling. Within 3 months, I was in a brand new, way healthier relationship. Within 4 months, I was making more money than at any point in my life before then. And within 6 months, everything had changed. I was waking up happy, fulfilled, in the best shape of my life. I had lost, in the middle of all that, over 7 weeks, like 25 pounds without even technically trying. And I kind of figured out, I finally learned the hard way that this law of attraction thing, if you want to call it that, it works when you work it. And it honestly wasn't until 11 years later that I even finally gave myself permission to write a book about it and say, you know what, can I bring something new to this? Can I say something that hasn't been said before? Can I actually serve the readers in this area of thought who were finally looking for some way of making things click and move in their direction. And ever since I gave myself permission and launched that book, I've just been at it every single day and loving life and taking it as it comes.
Wow. Okay. All right, man. You know what? You're catching me at a time in my life where I've achieved some big results in certain areas, and I'm looking to step it up there and everywhere. I'm a man who I believe is living below his potential in many respects. I think a lot of men feel that way. In the world of being a man, it's really important. And I think it's more than important. I think it's my duty as a man to live life to my fullest potential, to become the best version of me I can possibly be. Do you agree with that, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for anybody, really.
Yeah. But I'm talking about this from the perspective of a man. I'm a man. I'm speaking for myself as a man. And I think that it is my duty as a man to live life as the best version of myself. And I think that if a man's listening to the podcast, that's what he thinks. If a woman's listening to the podcast, that's what she ought to think. But I'm speaking specifically for myself as a man. And I think all men should think that way.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, I hired a coach because I reached that point of disgust, the point of indignation. What did you call it? The moment of indignation.
Yes, a moment of indignation and epiphany.
So that's what I reached that for myself. I was 227 pounds. I was over 50 pounds overweight, and I was done with it. I hired a coach. He was a former bodybuilder. I was 55 at the time, and within 6 months, I dropped 58 pounds. A year later, I did a bodybuilding competition, shredded abs, and now by 60, I want to get my IFBB Pro card. That's me as the best version of myself, physically, health-wise, etc. Now I want to attract a level of success I've only dreamed of in the past. I want to attract a $10 million plus a year income. And I've been saying this to myself, and I've been saying, you know what? I need a path. I need, like this guy showed me what to do health and fitness wise. I need a path. So you're here on this show because of Paul. Paul's my friend. He's also my client. By the way, he got his first coaching client today. So kudos to Paul. Great job, nice. Paul. Yeah. Really, really great work. And I think God sent you to me today. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. Tell me what to do. What do I got to do? How do I use your book? How do I use what you have to say? I'm all in. I'm one of those 2% of people that's all in. So let's go. So use this almost like you're coaching me on using this methodology to be the best version of me and attract that $10 million a year income. Let's go.
Well, so, I mean, let's begin with something here. Whether it's a man or a woman, we'll say, I'm speaking to a man right now. You could tell the measure of a man if you just observe them. You listen to them speak, you watch their body language, you hear their inflection, you see the choice of words that they have. More often than not, they actually have a lot more of the tools than they ever realize. And I think you're a unique person in that you have the tools that you realize. You just got these obstacles in front of you, but having been someone that's already achieved a high level of success, it's really just about tweaking. And it's about how do we see, as powerful as you are and what you've done in terms of forward progress, you're that much powerful also just in terms of any invisible blocks you put in front of yourself. And we all have them, no matter what kind of leaps we make. We're 60 years old in the best shape of our life or whatever it might be. There's always going to be residual blocks because we've already gone through life where there have been things getting in our way. So for me, the trick is, how can you find a gentle way of dissolving those blocks in a way where you almost don't see how the sausage is being made? Because again, at a highly aware, highly intelligent level, it's very easy to see yourself unlocking things and then being so self-conscious of that you don't even let it work. So it's like, okay, what do? Let's bypass all that nonsense by finding an easy, strategic, user-friendly way of engaging the tools that are already within us. So, speaking specifically, the supercomputer that is your subconscious mind. You already have the answer to 10 million or more per year. You already have the answer to all these pieces. It's just, can you access it? Can you get past the hurdles and unlock it? Which is, okay, Thanks, Andrew. That's really nice. Nice lip service, nice little sound bites. How do we actually do that? Well,
Mm.
it's actually easier than a lot of people will believe or accept. All you're going to do is engage in a 5, or if you're highly motivated, I can tell about you, a 5 or 10-minute process every single day where you are just feeding your mind in a way that it doesn't feel forced. It's not constricted. It's not hurting your schedule. It's not overwhelming. It's not annoying. And you're just going to let things go from there. So by engaging in a simple gratitude process for 5 or 10 minutes a day, or visualization, or just alternating all between that in a way that's mapped out, that's sending your brain the right messages, that's where things happen. And, if you're a law of attraction person, you're going to say, well, that's where the universe brings opportunities. If you don't believe in the law of attraction and you're not down with the universe, that's fine. That's where you're going to say your subconscious mind starts feeding you the ideas of what you need. You're going to be inspired to certain ideas or certain moves to make within your business, or you're going to be inspired to take some kind of action, or, and I believe this again, we put things out, things come to us. You're going to encounter different people or different opportunities. And it's all going to be this web, this combination that you could not possibly have consciously constructed on your own on paper, that just unfolds through this daily process of positively engaging in gratitude or visualization that knocks all the other nonsense out without you having to forcefully do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Cool. All right. So, for example, you want to do $10 million a year, right?
Yes, sir.
What does that actually look like to you?
It's a good question. So I have a number of programs. There's one of my programs, which I'm really excited about. It's called Get Booked and Get Paid. It's a 2-day workshop where we teach people how to get booked on podcasts and to get paid as a result of getting booked on those podcasts by generating leads, sales, and clients. And we charge $2,000 for that workshop, although that price is going to go up to $3,000, maybe even more in the new year. But that's what we're charging for it right now. And I'd love to have 1,000 people sign up for that next year.
Beautiful. Okay, so I hear a lot there. Now the question becomes, how can we strategically engage in a way that this is as realistic as possible, that again, it's going to get past all the nonsense, all the doubts, all the insecurities, all the fear, all the uncertainty. So for example, and there's different ways you can do this, and I'm not that guy that says, let's only do positive. Let's do real and vivid. For example, you said you want to get 1,000 people in there, right? Certain days, if I'm in your shoes, I might be visualizing scenarios where I'm stressed out and I'm worried because too many people are signing up. And now I got to go through the stress of booking a different venue, or I got to go through the stress of hiring staff to keep up. I will actually visualize myself in that scenario of things being too much to handle. Not every day, but as one mode of enhancing reality and really delivering that to my subconscious mind in a realistic, believable way. What else could I do? I can actually start writing out emails. I want to have them ready now to send when people are asking for me to be their personal coach and having to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I'm booked for the next 6 months. When you come in, unfortunately, my rate will be XYZ. If you want to do it, please let me know. I will put you on the waiting list. Like, again, however you would word it with your personality in a way that, you're genuinely grateful to the person, you're not being rude to them, but you are having to turn people down. You're having to turn people away because so many people are going after you that you can't keep up with them all, and you have to raise your rates as a result. This being, the classic, Tony Robbins. I don't know what he does these days, but I remember way back before all these years of inflation, he would cost $1 million for personal consulting, and people would pay it because it would be so few people. Bill Clinton would pay it. Michael Jordan would pay it, right? So you want to choose these types of things where you're engaging in what it looks like to you, and to let yourself, not pressure yourself, but to let yourself feel whatever emotions go along with that as you're really engaging. What does that feel like? What does it taste like? When I say that, it's like, what kind of dinners are you on with these clients? Or what kind of meals are you having at the locations? Are you doing an event in Vegas? Are you doing an event in Cancun? Are you doing an event in Miami? What kind of food are you having? What kind of hotels are there? What kind of services? What kind of experiences are you engaging in and providing as a result of the kind of event that you were booking or planning for that specific situation? Now, again, Nikki, I'm throwing all these different things at you. So just for clarity for anyone listening, I'm not saying do all of this every single day. I'm saying make a nice little menu for yourself of different situations, different scenarios, different senses, different little aspects that you can then engage with in terms of a visualization, in terms of just a gratitude process. By the way, I'm very happy to kind of take a method from one of my books, and we can actually convert it for your specific situation.
Let's do it.
Which we'll do in a couple minutes if you'd like. But you see where I'm going with this. Notice that because I'm not the marketing your event guru. I'm not going to go into the marketing aspect of things, even though I'm sure you and I could both have a conversation where we agree on things and disagree. But just from a mindset perspective and getting your powerful supercomputer behind to really drive a lot of this forward, to bring ideas forward, to bring action forward, it's all about having the patience to commit to this daily process. And a really important thing to keep in mind here is it's very easy to get impatient when you're doing this. You're going to do this for a week and you're like, where's my first idea? Or where's my first coincidence? Where's my first XYZ? And when you're keeping score, in my opinion, you're doing the wrong thing. What this should be, and this is what a lot of people, when they, engage with the law of attraction, what they do wrong is they do the method for the sake of the result, where I say you want to do the method for the sake of enjoying the method. Because if all you're doing is gritting your teeth through the method and trying to manipulate and force and rush things, well, then you're having a negative emotional experience and you're conditioning your mind to associate negativity with that. Whereas if I'm just going to bask in this, I'm going to breathe in the emotion, I'm going to feel this in, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to look forward to this every day. And it's only 5 or 10 minutes a day, so it's not going to interfere with my schedule. It's something that's going to be so fun, so enjoyable, so visceral that I don't have to do it. I get to do it. And it's kind of like a thing where I'd say in a lot of interviews, imagine like a really huge football fan. Imagine telling this diehard football fan who lives, breathes, eats, sleeps football, telling him that he's going to the Super Bowl. He's not going to be mad about the long flight that he has to take. He's not going to be mad about the traffic, about the hotel, about waiting in the stadium all day for the game to finally begin. He's going to be excited about every little thing because, oh my God, I get the privilege of going to the Super Bowl because I'm a football fan. I'm a football freak. It's the same with this process every single day where you've got to do a good enough job for yourself and engage in such a way that it's never a chore. It's never an obligation. It's literally like brushing your teeth, although it's a lot more fun than brushing your teeth. It's something that It's just part of what you do every day. It's the fun way you begin your day or the fun way you end your day or whatever works specifically for you. Now, as I'm throwing all this on you, how is this landing? Are there questions? Are there little obstacles you see? Or like, how do you feel in this as we're breaking it down?
No, I like this. Like, when I signed up with Hammer the Hammer to get fit, he does online coaching, essentially, right? So the way it worked is I paid him a monthly fee, and he would do a check-in with me officially once a week. But at the beginning, I checked in with him every day by text. I would say to him, okay, what do I need to do? So give me a workout plan, and then I needed to check in with my meal plan. And he would tweak it a little bit. He'd go, okay, you did this, you did that. I was in love with the process. You know what I mean? The process made the results happen. And I realized it was the tweaks, the daily tweaks that drove it forward. Because throughout the process, there was a lot of times where I thought, fuck, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. I can't do this. All the negativity, the self-doubt came in, but I trusted him because he'd helped other people put this into action. And, I'm surrendering to the process. I'm trusting you. So yeah, let's roll.
Yeah, well, you said something so important there because I'm technically consulting you right now, but I'm also trying to simultaneously consult any audience that's listening right now because you said something so important. You said you fell in love with the process. If you can fall in love with the process, you are golden. And I don't tell people, I don't make that a requirement or put people pressure on that, but I would say strategically for anyone listening, you should be doing everything you can in your power to craft these experiences and these visualizations and these processes for yourself so that you are in love with it. Because once you are in love with the process, it's game over. It's not a question of if, just when, because you were doing all the things. It's almost like, someone lifts weights every single day. Doesn't matter whether they love or hate it. They're going to see a result because they're lifting weights every single day. They compound that with fixing up their diet, just a tweak. They just cut out sugar. They cut out soda. All right, all of a sudden, that's a step. Okay, now and again, I'm not a health expert here, so I'm just using examples. Now they take bread out of the equation. They take pasta. That's another tweak. Then they start, putting a real organized workout schedule where there's leg day, there's back day, there's all these things. It's like whatever you can do within the confines of the process, you're doing, like, you're already golden. So again, for you, you yourself have said, again, you've already achieved incredible levels of success in your life already. This is just that next step. It's like, okay, having all these different steps that you've already gone through, what are the common elements from those things and what are the differences? Because in terms of the common pieces, those are things that can be incorporated into this next thing because it's probably going to be common there. In terms of the differences, as you spot the differences, it's like, okay, what makes these different? Was my new step up of success a higher level of stress? Was it a higher level of competency? Was like, what is the difference? Because once you understand the differences in that way, you can say, okay, that change is something can be incorporated in its own new level for the 10 million aspect of all this. So I'm rambling a lot here. And again, I mean, I'm glad it's being recorded because it'll much be easier to kind of like break this down later and pick and choose how you want to do this. But let's use one of my methods as an example for this because we do want to make this fun, right? So one of my methods, it's called the time-lapse method. And the way it goes is all you're going to do is you're basically going to pick 15 things that you're grateful for in your life. 5 of them are from your past, 5 of them are from your present, and 5 of them are in your future. And you're going to word all of them, though, in the present tense. In other words, if I said I'm so grateful for my apartment, you can't tell if I'm talking about the one that I had, the one that I have, or the one that I'm going to have because of the way I worded it. So you're going to take all these 15 things and word them in the present tense, and then you're going to jumble up that list. So maybe the first thing is a present item, followed by a past, followed by another present, another future, a past, a present. Doesn't matter. It's all mixed up. And the really cool thing about this is with this new jumbled up list of these things that are from 15, you're going to read through it either out loud or in your own mind. It doesn't matter. And then you're just going to take a minute to whatever measure you can to bask in the genuine, authentic gratitude of that actual thing. And the really cool thing about this is, if you're doing that, it's going to take you around 15 minutes, right? For all that huge list that you've written, 2/3 of that list is real. It either has happened or is happening. Therefore, there's a level of certainty and confidence in your mind as you're experiencing that gratitude. But since we as humans can't downshift very easily, when we read off and bask in the gratitude of the future things as well, there's going to be an extra level of clarity and certainty there because you're already in that mindset. So again, you're just like, I'm so grateful for, Paul as a client or for, like, you name different people. And then it's like, I'm so grateful for XYZ event selling out. You don't have the event yet, but you've said it, right? If you're talking about like Paul, who you're so grateful for, and your last milestone that you're so grateful for, and another thing, and you're feeling great. Now, all of a sudden, when you read off that new item about selling out the new future event, you're already pumped up. You're already feeling it viscerally in your body, which is carrying over into your subconscious mind. It's this wonderful magic, combustion of inspiration and faith and gratitude and positive emotion and energy and frequency and vibration and everything that's just like exploding in all these ways that you don't even visually see, that you don't even perceive in your senses, in that gift that you're given to yourself. And again, hopefully, if you do this the right way, you love it. So not only does that put you in a good mood for like moving forward for the rest of your day, but it's something that you look forward to day after day after day. That's the magic of all this. That's where you get that consistency, and that's where things start to unfold. And you notice, again, I mean, I have marketing insights I can share, but I don't know if I'm better than you. And I don't know if I'd want to give you that, but I don't even think you need that from me. You already are a brilliant mind in that way. What we're doing right here, right now, is we are accessing a few more hidden levers or layers to you that is going to start moving the pieces around for you.
What did you call this method again?
The time-lapse method. Like it's almost like, I don't know if anyone out there listening has ever seen the movie Lucy, but there's a scene where she talks about like time is the one thing that kind of validates reality. Like if you film a car moving fast on a screen, like at different speeds, and it keeps going around and around, if you get to a certain speed, you don't even see the car anymore. So I kind of think of this as like there is no time. Your past, your present, and your future. It's all happening at once. Good things are all happening at once. And if you're relaying that to your subconscious mind in that fun way, all of a sudden this $10 million goal, it's already a reality. And the subconscious mind has a really difficult time reconciling you know an inconsistency of its perception with real life. Therefore it's going to say, well, this isn't good. Everything is supposed to be 10 million. Why am I not seeing this happen for Nikki yet? I'm going to force feed him this idea because this is a very easy way for him to do it. Or I'm going to just push him a little bit harder to do this, to make this one extra call. Or I know all these, like again, the subconscious mind, it knows everything it needs to do. It's going to compel you to do things and you won't even know why it's happening. You're just going to go with the flow. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be excited. It's just going to feel like the right thing to do.
I like this. This is good. This is really, really good. And I got to tell you, I think, I mean, I don't even know what your main business is beyond your books, but this is brilliant. And I think a ton of people could benefit from learning how to tweak this day in and day out. A ton of people. Because the mind can be your greatest ally and it can be your biggest impediment at the same time.
Yes. Yes. And to add one thing to this, I'm a big fan of Diamond Dallas Page, professional wrestler. He came out with this thing called DDP yoga, his own version of yoga. And one of his things was like he's telling people who are like they're out of shape and they're trying to heal injuries. He's like, listen, I've got this method, I've got this program, I got these moves, but make it your own. And that's the same thing in this regard. Like, I'm giving the broad strokes here, but I want to invite you, Nikki, and anyone else listening to make it their own, to make the tweaks that you just discussed, whatever's going to be good for them. In other words, like one of my methods is, and it's not my method, like it existed before me, but it's scripting, which is just basically writing about your dream life in the present tense as if it's already occurring. And some people don't like it because handwriting, it hurts it cramps their hand. And I'm like, okay, well then type it. And then some people are like, well, I don't like typing it because I did do too many typos. I'm like, okay, speak it. Actually just verbalize it. And someone goes, well, I feel kind of self-conscious. I go, okay, don't do it. Do another method. Do the time lapse. Do a different visualization. Do a different gratitude method. In other words, do whatever you need to do to feel positive emotion while you're thinking about what you have or what you want or both. Every time somebody writes to me with like a law of attraction question, like, am I doing this method right, Andrew? Because I did this change, I did this, and this. I always tell them, okay, as long as you feel good, as long as this method helps you feel good while thinking about what you have or thinking about what you want or thinking about both, you're doing it right. That's it. So it's all about knowing yourself. Like for me, the time lapse method, when the way I came up with that is there was like an older, what I, rudely would call an inferior version of the method, where I'm like, this isn't fun. This isn't going to inspire me to do this every day. This isn't something I'm going to look forward to. Let me tweak it and make it into this thing where it's this jumbled up list of past, present, and future. Let me make it fun. Let me make it enjoyable for me based on my personality, based on my preferences. It's all about really making it your own. Always be in tweaking mode, always being willing to enjoy what it is and willing to shift if you're ever getting bored or impatient with yourself.
For me, what works is discipline. I don't want too much choice. In fact, I want no choice. When I'm getting started with something, I want to follow a structure. Over time, it makes sense to tweak. But at the beginning, there should be no tweaking. There should just be do it. Until what I'm doing shows itself to be insufficient, and then it's necessary to do a tweak. Because when I started working with Ammer, I followed his exact workout plan. I followed his exact diet plan. Then after a little while, he changed the diet plan and he gave me some choice. I did that. I found that actually didn't work for me because I was able to move things around and choose. So I went back to no choice on my diet. Right now, I eat the same meals every day, same time. There's some moderate changes I make. So, I mean, the time of day might be different. I might have a little bit more carbs, a little less protein, or vice versa certain days. But the fact that there's no choice is actually very freeing, because too much choice when I'm attempting to master a process, it's overwhelming. It's not good. It's terrible, actually. It's the worst thing to do, is to give a man especially too much choice. Justin Sterling, the creator of the Sterling Men's Weekend, is a brilliant man. And he gives out these $50 tips. And one of his $50 tips goes something like this: freedom to a man is having no choice, surrendering to a purpose, and then moving forward.
So you make a really important point here. And this is so critical, because there's people that are exactly aligned with where you're at, and people that whether to realize them, they're going to be in different categories. So, but let's address yours. If you're saying that too much choice is a problem and you prefer structure, then the easy solution is take these raw pieces, build a structure to follow, and you're good to go. Meaning, and again, by the way, I'm happy. Like, if you say, Andrew, I don't even want to do that. Andrew, just give me one structure. I'm happy to give you
That's what I want.
a 5-day or 10-day. Like, I can easily do that. And, whether I give you methods from my book or whatever it might be, but I say, whether it's me or you, the key to this, whether like you pick maybe like a 7-day thing where you just like every week, like, Monday you do time lapse, Tuesday you do gratitude blitz, or, Wednesday you do scripting. Again, we can work on this. Once we figure that out, that structure, then you follow it. The key though is finding a structure first that you enjoy. Like, even though you're disciplined, I want to make sure that you're enjoying this process, because I want to guarantee that there's positive emotion on any day, no matter what's going on, no matter how busy you are, no matter how stressed you are, no matter what's going on. It's just a little extra insurance I like to put on that it's going to be making more progress for you. So for you, like, let me ask you, did you enjoy the time-lapse method example I just gave you?
Yeah, it's great. And the scripting's good too.
Cool. All right. Those are our first. Let's give you, I'll give you a little choice here. Do you want a 5-day structure or a 7-day structure? All right. We're going to go 7-day, but we're going to make the 2 days on the weekend a little bit flexible to mix it up. So day 1, you're going to do the time-lapse method. And again, you know how to do it already, but after we get off this call, I can always give you the specific written down steps or whatever.
You said it. It's clear.
Mm-hmm. Day 2, we're going to do scripting. And again, it's a weird thing. I know you don't like choice. Some people like to write it, some like to type it, some like to speak it. I'll tell you, either write it or type it. Whatever works for your mind, that you feel a better, more efficient flow of ideas, of whether you're either writing about it or typing. But the way the scripting is work is you're basically just going to describe in vivid detail in the present tense exactly what you want. And that's where you go details of, like, the hotel called up and they have an extra wing that they want to book, and I just got enough people signing up, so we got another wing in the hotel room booked up. Or hired a new manager to deal with all the people, the registrations, and whatever it might be. The best details for yourself. But that's going to be, and again, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I hate to give you choice here, but it's really like what works for your schedule. If you can do 10 minutes, do 10 minutes.
10
but
minutes
if you could only do 5, because I know you're a busy guy, 5 really is enough. Cool. All right, cool. So that's day 2. Day 3, I want you, because you're so good with, I want you to set a timer for 7 minutes, and I want you to do a gratitude blitz. And I'm going to describe what that blitz is for. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to set a timer, and for those 7 minutes, all you're going to do is think of things that you're grateful for. Now, for you probably want to, in the middle of that, incorporate these positive details of this new lifestyle, but include it with almost like a time lapse with prep, current things and even past things. So like, just to give you a brief, I'll give you a brief gratitude blitz right now. Because I'm fortunate, and that I just recently announced 150,000 copies sold of my book. I am so grateful Thank you for every single copy. I'm grateful for every 5-star review, every customer, every reader, every listener, every subscriber, every supporter, every person that had any bit of positive word of mouth, every person like Paul who connected us, every podcast host, every single support, every available resource of people that got that message, got other people to do it. I am grateful for all that. I am also grateful for the Andrew in 2019, me, who put in all that work over those 9.5 weeks that he wrote that book, that he put in the trouble of crafting the cover, of writing up all the copy, of copy editing himself, of going through all the process of setting up, all the details that came into place in order to get that book out there, all the sleepless nights, all the stuff he put in that he was so passionate about. I'm also so grateful for every single friend who bought that book on day one and had positivity. I'm also grateful for all the people that were complaining to me and were nagging me saying, Andrew, I don't want this in print. I don't want it in Kindle. I want an audiobook. And they forced me to record an audiobook, which has sold more copies than any other format version of the book so far. I'm so grateful. Notice I'm going on and on and on and on. I barely said anything here. That's a gratitude blitz. You could do one about, not for you, you're doing about the 10 million piece here, but anyone listening, you could do it for your body. I'm grateful for my eyes, my ears, my heart. I'm grateful for my brain, my creativity, my intelligence. I'm grateful for my resilience. I'm grateful for my ability to walk, my hands and fingers and arms, my legs, my feet, my toes, like all these pieces. It's just a blitz. It feels wonderful. And it's one of those things where for most people, you start going the first 30 seconds and it doesn't feel like much, but 60 seconds in, 90 seconds in, like the more you do it, you're like, holy crap, man, how much in my life do I have to be grateful for? That's a gratitude blitz. That's your third day that you're going to be doing there. Your fourth day. So this is going to be interesting. What do we got for your fourth day here? For your fourth day, I want you to envision all the different ways. I want you to just, you close your eyes, you sit down, and you can envision all the ways in which people are acknowledging you in some way, shape, or form for this new step in your life. They're asking, Nikki, how did you do it? Nikki, I needed, like, what's the one extra thing you did? Nikki, congratulations. Like, oh my God, thank you for letting me into your event. Like all these different people and all the different things they might say, whether they're thanking you for letting them in the event, whether they're asking if they can hire you, whether they're asking you how you're doing this. What are all these different contact points of people? Just like, what are they going to be saying? That's going to be your visualization process. Cool. So we've got time lapse the first day. We've got scripting the second day. We've got a gratitude blitz the third day. We've got this visualization of people coming to you the fourth day. On the fifth day, I want it to be a different kind of rehearsal. And this is you imagining, like, I want you to pick that milestone of like the 10 million finally happening, like actually hitting that number. I'll never forget, for anyone listening, The Social Network, where they had like the big meter, and I think they finally got their millionth Facebook subscriber. It was some huge milestone, and it like went past, and everyone was like exploding in celebration. It was unheard of. They couldn't believe that they'd made it. I want you to envision like what that's going to look like. Is it going to be something where your accountant announces it to you? Is it going to be something where you've been keeping track and you get a new notification? Like, what is the actual thing that's going to look like when you hit that milestone for the first time? And then what is your reaction? Are you calling somebody to tell them? Are you texting someone? Are you emailing? Are you composing a social media message? Are you doing what I did? So here's a funny thing. I sold 100,000 copies of the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read. While I was doing that and while I was getting close, I wrote this book called 3 Words I Used to Sell 100,000 Books. I was preparing to publish and announce this as soon as I hit the milestone. I was actually writing this in preparation. That pushed me forward. What is the thing that you're going to do as just kind of like acknowledgement in the moment when it happens? I want you to really just bask in it, really, just like soak your emotions and your being in that moment and what it looks like, what it feels like, how you feel about it. And like, are you relieved? Are you excited? Are you already looking to like 20 million? Like based on who Nikki really is, how is Nikki really legitimately responding in that moment? That's going to be your fifth day. How are we feeling so far? Okay, cool. So, sixth day, this is where I want you to basically, on a piece of paper, I want you to write down different messages thanking yourself for what you're doing for yourself on this path. And that could, like, examples of this, like, thank you, Nikki, for the next big idea that's just around the corner. Thank you, Nikki, for engaging in this process every single day. Thank you, Nikki, for all the legwork you've done up to this point. Thank you for that, for living past that horrible experience that taught you so many lessons that you condition yourself to grow from. Like, you just keep giving yourself different thank you messages, acknowledging the work you've done and the work that you're going to do, the progress you've made and the progress you're going to make. Just acknowledge yourself, thank yourself. And while you're at it, thank your subconscious mind. Thank you, subconscious mind, for continuing to put all the calculations together, for feeding me ideas for the next one you're going to throw at me when I'm least expecting it. Thank you, universe, or thank you, God, depending on your belief system, for all the future opportunities and people that you're going to throw in my path. So thank yourself mostly, but thank on a peripheral those other aspects. That's going to be day 6. Okay, of all of these, which one speaks to you the most, just on a quick glance? Like, which of these methods really lit you up?
They're all fun.
Mm-hmm.
The thank you messages and the gratitude blitz seem like they'd be the most fun.
That's why that's going to be your day 7. You're going to do one of each, 5 minutes of each.
I love it.
That, sir, is your 7-day structure.
I'll tell you something. Fitness coaches have these online fitness coaching. I think you could do this for people. You get a lot of people to sign up. My fitness coach has 15 coaches working for him. He has over 1,000 clients right now.
Wow.
That pay $500 a month for online fitness coaching. He splits that with his coaches. And they got a gym in which they do one-on-one in the gym training too. So I'm estimating, but I think gross revenue is around between 500,000 and 700,000 a month for him doing this. And obviously, like, he splits that with his coaches, so it's not all his. But I'm sure he pockets 150K, 200K a month, at least. And I think to myself, like, if you had this as a online fitness, as an online gratitude practice where you held people accountable, I'd sign up for it today, right now, on the spot.
Thank you for the compliment. I do have something. It's not like this. Like, direct access to me is a little tough because I'm so busy, but I do have a 90-day program for people. And like, the way it works is basically, like you said, sometimes choice too much is too much to handle. What for those that read the Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, and they read the methods from there and they're inspired, but they don't have the level of discipline you have, that they can't push themselves up. It's basically a 90-day program where I email them every single day with a video and also walking them through a method. And they get 3 consecutive months, 90 consecutive days of just building up momentum for themselves. So I do have, again, like what you're describing, I don't have that yet, but that's something strong.
I'll tell you, online coaching doesn't take up a lot of time. And all of that is literally, it's emails and texts, mostly emails, I think. There's not, like, Amber, he works with his athletes and he'll give them his time, but everybody else, no, he won't. That's why he's got people going there. All I'm just saying is this is valuable.
Thank you.
You've sold 150,000 copies of your book. Like, I've always wanted to be a best-selling writer since I was a kid. I read over 100 books a year. I've read over 4,000 books in my lifetime. Okay. It's a crazy number of books. And I'm also a man who, throughout my life, I've succeeded, but not at the highest levels. It's one of the things I'm upset with myself about, is I have these big, grandiose dreams and goals, and I don't quite hit them. Well, last year, though, with the weight loss, I hit a big goal, like a really big goal. And I didn't just hit it, I beat it. And this year, I did even better. Like, I'm 57 years old, and buddy, and I got abs. Did you know that it's 8.5 times harder to get abs over the age of 50 than it is to make $50 million? Did you know that?
Doesn't surprise me.
That is crazy. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm listening to you. I'm going, okay, fuck it. I want my books to sell a lot of copies. I want to make 10 million a year. I want my business to grow. There's a whole bunch of things I want to do. And I've been looking for, and I'm telling you flat out, ever since I did this, I got a lot of coaches that coach me in different things, and they're great and all, but they haven't been delivering something like this to me. This is exciting to me. I don't know what 90-day program is all about. I'm going to give this a try on my own. I'll look at your 90-day program. I consider signing for it. But if you had that level of program with that level of accountability, and I knew you would be tweaking my stuff, I'd sign up today. You get my credit card right now.
I might have to start thinking about stuff.
So look, what I do for a living is I help guys like you put programs together and get paid. That's what I'm doing for Paul, right? Like, I'm not good at it. I'm masterful at it. I get guys paid at a level they can't even conceive of. You know, there's a woman who's working with us right now who had an $80,000 month. She'd never done more than 35,000 ever. That was like her best ever month. Normally she'd be under 20 grand, like between 15 and 20 grand. She just had an $80,000 month. And in the last 10 days, she did $24,000. Just
nice.
She's an introvert. It doesn't matter. She's also under my care. I know how to help people make money. But when it comes to me breaking through my biggest goals, I only started to really do that at 55, 56. And I want to take it to another level. I believe it's my responsibility and duty to society, to my father, to be the best me I can be. I got to sell 100,000 books. Now, you did that. I want to learn how you did it. You showed me this. I'm going to do this 7-day structure. I'm going to look at what you do. And I recommend everybody do the same, because life moves like that. You don't want to die one day and be upset with yourself because you did not fully achieve your potential. Wayne Dyer said the worst epitaph anybody can have is, "Here lies Andrew, here lies Nikki. He died with his potential fully intact." God, the very thought of that just gives me shivers, you know. So I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. People want to buy your book, find out about your program. What's the best place for them to go to?
Thank you. 2 easy links, whichever one you want, either awesomemarvelous.com or andrewkap.com. That's K-A-P. That's the spelling. And Nikki, thank you so much for having me. And by the way, dude, 57, I would not have believed it, man. Whatever you're doing is also de-aging you, man, because you do not look your age. So congratulations on tremendous progress. Very inspiring. And thanks again to you and your audience for just, listening to what I have to say. So grateful today I can give a little value.
Well, I appreciate you coming, Andrew. We end every show by asking you as our guest expert to give us in bullet point form your top 3 expert action steps. These are your best pieces of advice to help me and my listener go to the next level. So what say you?
First bullet point is have a structure, have a schedule, like we covered. Second bullet point is make it fun. Make sure that you enjoy it every single day. And third one is, and I mean this, do it in a way that works for you. Again, I see the value of structure, but first choose that structure in a way where you can say, listen, this works for me. I can do it every single day. I will look forward to it every single day. That, to me, if anyone who really can do that, really engage in that way, I know it sounds very hyperbolic, but it's game over. If you could do that for yourself, you will be shocked whether you're trying to find progress in your mind, your body, your relationships, your love life, your career, your business, whatever it might be. Do this and you will access what is already within you a lot more than you could ever fathom. It will literally be game over. And you'll love your life so much more as well.
Those are 3 great expert action steps. I love them. Andrew Kap, an honor to have you here on the show. Thank you so much. Listener, Andrew Kap's the real deal. Check him out. Check out his websites. They'll be in the show notes. And the 7-day structure that he gave me, if you're smart, you're going to take notes. You're going to create it for yourself. And you're going to follow it. And if you need more help than that, do his 90-day program. And who knows, maybe I'll twist his arm and get him to start an accountability program for you as well. And that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Sovereign Man Podcast. If you're ready to take charge of your life and become the man you've always wanted to be, we invite you to join the movement at sovereignman.ca.